Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Internal browning of crisp pink apples is a worldwide tendency, and it has cost the South African industry millions of rands in revenue in the past. The types of internal browning for this cultivar has been verified. There's radial browning, diffuse browning, CO2 browning, and I've also found misshapen fruit browning. The current storage regimes have been adapted to mitigate this problem. Shorter term CA storage is currently being done for maximum probably up to 5 months. However, long-term storage is still a risk. 7 to 9 months is not currently being done, specifically for to prevent diffuse browning. Oh, my slides are looking a bit funny on this computer. Well, there we go. Internal browning of crisp pink apples has its potential determined by pre-harvest factors, seasonal climatic variables, growing region, orchard factors and harvest maturity, and also post-harvest factors such as storage temperature, your cooling rate, CA conditions, and also storage time. So the pre-harvest factors are often out of the control of the producer, but the post-harvest factors can be manipulated to mitigate the internal browning, especially diffuse browning expression. Delay in CA initiation and or step-down cooling regimes can reduce the stress of the fruit and could possibly reduce the development of internal browning after over long-term storage. Certain gradual cooling strategies in conjunction with SmartFresh is successfully being used in other Southern Hemisphere countries. Specifically in Australia, the Colonel's recipe is being used, and this study aims to test this protocol in South Africa and ensure that there's no adverse quality effects if implemented here on our apples. So the objectives of this trial was to source 10 populations of crisp pink apples from previously identified risk orchards, to store them according to the Australian step-down regime and compare that to the current South African regimes, and then to assess the internal browning type found across populations, and also for the cooling regimes, for the different cooling regimes. And then the last objective is feedback and make recommendations to the industry on the best cooling regime that we found. This work was started in last year. The fruit were harvested in April. 5 orchards in Elgin area and 5 orchards in the Ceres-Koa-Bokkerveld area. The treatments that were administered, there were 5 treatments. I can just point out 4 of the treatments. The first 4 treatments was subjected to SmartFresh, and the last treatment not. The first treatment was with the SmartFresh, then 30 days at 4. So the first 3 treatments are the step-down cooling treatments, where we gradually went down from 4 to 3 to 2 degrees, and then the remaining days was at 1 degrees. This trial was done in conjunction with the university, so we used their Yanni bins for storage. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough to do the whole trial. It's quite a large trial with 10 populations, and so treatment 5 was not stored at the university. Treatment 2, different to treatment 1, started at 3 degrees, so gradually then down from 3 to 2 to 1 for the remainder of the CA storage. And treatment 3, a little bit of a different approach, which was a request from the industry. A short time, a week at 4 degrees, 2 weeks at 3 degrees, 3 weeks at 2, and then the remaining. So also a gradual step down, just different timing to get to the 1 degrees for the remaining days in storage. And then treatment 4 is just full storage at 1 degrees. So no step-down cooling in treatment 4. Treatment 5, no SmartFresh, and it's was stored in a commercial cold store. But the rooms opened in September, so from there it was moved to the university for further storage until maximum storage. The fruit were harvested in April, as I said, and then the total storage was 9 months. So it was a very long storage period. We opened it in January this year and evaluated after RA and after shelf life. So there's 3 evaluation times. Was at the end of CA, end of RA, and end of shelf life. I've just circled the step-down cooling regimes, and this is an average across all temp populations for firmness, just to show that at the end, I don't know this. There we go. After shelf life, after CA, quite similar firmnesses. After RA, after shelf life, you saw a little bit of a difference. But here, with the no SmartFresh, you could expect the lower firmness. But there's also a tendency for the fruit that had no step-down cooling that had a lower firmness compared to the step-down cooling. Okay. Color, the only difference in color was the fruit that had no SmartFresh. And then for the browning, because this is what the trial was all about, we really struggled to find browning. Apparently last year was not a browning year. We are doing the trial again this year, same layout, same orchards. But yeah, we found CO2 damage in certain populations. Misshapen fruit, you always find the browning in the misshapen area of the fruits. Diffuse browning, if we found it, was extremely light and very low incidence. There was no greasiness that occurred, and some decay occurred, though a person must just follow standard practices for decay control. At the moment, we're waiting 2018 results to confirm 2017 results. I'm hoping to find some browning this year to see treatment differences. Thank you.